Welcome to the 1 to 1 Million podcast, your weekly crypto alpha for those who never quit. Today, we're going to be diving into Data Lake, a crypto DeSci project that is building on a couple different frontiers. This is a project I recently got into. I recently bought the Lake token. It's an absolutely tiny token sitting at just $4 million in market cap. So, with this project, I'm trying to kind of assess how legitimate is it? Is this a real team building towards a real goal? What is the growth potential as far as revenue and where this project could go? I'm not looking for anything insane. I'm not looking for it to be $100 billion project. It's $4 million today. So if it only went to a $400 million in market cap, that'd be 100x, and I'd be very happy with that. I want to dive into the market cap versus FDV. CoinMarketCap says the FDV is a certain amount. The white paper says seems to have some discrepancies on what that is. So I want to dive into and ask questions about it. In general, this is kind of me because I bought this, feeling out like having a conversation with the co-founder and asking questions that I would ask to try to understand the project. And that's kind of what this podcast is about, is me asking questions for an investment that I got into myself. Like I said, I'm not looking for anything insane. I'm looking just in general to get a feel for what's the potential, revenue cap? How big could this project grow based on revenue? What's the market size they're going after? I want to learn more about like how it actually works. Like they do like data collection when it comes to like medical data, but how does that actually work in practice? And then lastly, I want to dive into their a new thing they launched, a new platform called Lake.fund. And it's kind of like a launch pad for research. I want to understand how that works. Are they launching tokens? Like what's kind of the future vision with that and all that? So again, this is just my own due diligence. I do jumping into a project. I want to learn about this kind of stuff, and I'm bringing you guys along for the journey. Let's dive in. I guess to really kick it off, what is Data Lake? Can you give like a really good summary of like what is Data Lake? What is it trying to accomplish? What's the point of it and all that?
To also keep it kind of brief to everyone listening. So Data Lake is a service provider trying to make a researcher's job much easier, much more transparent, and also, last but not least, legal. So we provide sort of tools that make your research work better, to obtain better results, and to actually be able to recruit patients into your research. We have several products. We're probably going to tap into this throughout this podcast, but our main product would be the Data Lake application, which is a blockchain-based system which gives both the patient and the researcher a physical proof that's written on the blockchain that a data has been obtained in a legal, ethical manner with the patient's full consent. Plus, he always stays under control and is able, to withdraw it at any time. And after, this moment, the consent is revoked, and the researcher cannot use this his data anymore. So Data Lake, basically in one sentence, is an ecosystem of tools that are trying to accelerate research on, well, several avenues, as we'll discuss, because we also have the Lake.fund that you have mentioned that you've already seen, and that's a little bit more, utopia version of Data Lake application that's shifted towards, Web3 and general recruitment of patients from the Web3 sphere. But let's dive into that in a second.
Okay. So I'm going to try to kind of summarize what you're saying. Data Lake, basically the idea I'm guessing behind it from what you said is that like there's a lot of patient data out there that's confidential that like researchers can't access, but it's really useful data. And this is a way for researchers to be able to tap into that data and access it for research purposes?
Yes, you're absolutely right. At the beginning, we wanted to be the researchers ourselves. So we said to ourselves, let's get as much data as possible, and then let's find a client for that, right? Well, if only the world was that simple, that you're gonna go to a bunch of thousands of patients, gonna give them crypto, you're gonna get their data and find a client. Well, it didn't turn out that well, but what we were great at was at actually doing, all these tools and technologies, etc. So we shifted our approach to be a little bit different. So either we gave the option to the researchers, so let's say big pharma companies, to use our tools to do the heavy working themselves, because the they know which doctors have what patients. They know which drugs are prescribed in which regions. They know much more than a little startup from Eastern Europe. Uh, or second option, we could become the researcher and do a project for you. And this is something that we have actually been doing recently with two of the pharmaceutical companies that we're working with on two separate projects that we actually use our own application. We do the heavy lifting. We manage the data and we deliver the reports.
How big are these markets? Like, how much potential growth could something like Data Lake see if it were to, what's the upper limit on for something like this?
I mean, in 2021, which was the last time when they estimated it, the global medical data market was worth 30 billion.
30 billion.
So,
Okay.
yeah, quite not so
Qu-
bad,
qu-
And I
yeah.
mean, if we would be able to tap in, let's say, two digits percentage of that, then I think that would be a really, really huge success for whole design and data lake. Because, right now, we're tapping into much, much, much lower percentage of that. But still, there's interest, and we're happy to see that we're not the only one that think that this is actually a huge thing to be solving, and a mission that actually makes sense.
Okay. So that's one piece of Data Lake. The other piece you kind of mentioned earlier, which is a new thing, which is Lake.fun, which is almost entirely separate from this. It's like a whole different kind of concept. Can you talk about what Lake.fun is and kind of how that fits into the overall picture?
It's not totally different, but I mean, it's a totally separate product to the data lake application. While the data lake application is a tool to help the big pharma, to help the universities, students recruit patients and create their affiliation networks. It also requires one thing. So if you have a certain diagnosis, then you probably need a doctor that's going to prove that you got this diagnosis, because if we would open up the application to everyone to be able to sign up, you would have a lot of, airdrop farmers and hunters, and trying to just
Yeah.
claim the bounty. And, the quality of the data in the application, it would just dump, basically. But we also didn't want to limit ourselves, to this hermetic field of doing recruitment just within the medical sphere, right? Because the way recruitment is done in the data lake application is that you need to be referred through a doctor, that there has to be like a confirmed diagnosis of what the researcher is looking for. Because otherwise, there would be like no way, to actually prove it. Like if we put a checkbox, it's not going to really stop people trying to farm the bounty, right? But we thought, why, limit ourselves to this? And we wanted to try opening up the application in a way that we could actually recruit people from the whole world. So in a way that we could publish these researches publicly on the internet, push it on X, push it through Web3 KOLs, and push it through all the possible channels, and try to recruit people into a certain project, no matter what demographic, what condition, etc. So, in other words, what we tried is, again, helping people, companies, organizations that need individuals and patients in their research to reach them better. But this research is a little bit more limited and is more facing towards the Web3 scene. So for the first project, we're actually helping a company called MedMetrics. They're a platform that provides dermatological AI, which is basically a medical product that is able to diagnose your skin from a single photo. And they basically want to do a whole market research, check the algorithm, they want to improve it, etc. And they don't really care if you're from the US, from Brazil, Colombia, or India, or from Germany, right? They need as many people as possible. And I think this is where the power of Web3 comes, people that are really interested in the Web3 part of data lake and in DeSci, they're willing to help, and it's obviously visible on the demand. So we launched Lake.fund in other words, as a project to actually leverage the Web3 communities to help, medical startups, projects, and researchers to do their research.
Got it. Okay, so I was confused about Lake.fund. I was kind of thinking it was like a token launchpad, but you're saying it's not that. It's like you go in there, you do this study, and then you get some rewards.
Yes, and also no. So obviously there's several iterations to that. So we started as a simple platform, You give us data and we give you the bounty. I mean, the researcher gives you the bounty for contributing to the research. But then there's a piece of research done by the researcher that might become valuable in the future. So what we want to actually enable researchers is to actually create a token around these communities that we have created on Lake.fund. Because right now we have already a community of 100 something people, that have taken part in this AI project. So imagine you can take these people's submission, create a valuable research and monetize it, And then obviously tokenizing of these communities makes sense. But, we didn't want to complicate it at first with tokenizing stuff, making it liquid. And also a lot of regulatory stuff comes with that. But that's definitely something that's down the roadmap with actually Lake.fund, because it was supposed to be a research launchpad with the ability to actually tokenize those patient communities.
Got it. Okay, so the idea is that it would be a research launch pad. It's just not
Yes.
currently that yet.
Well, it is, in other words, it's just not a tokenized research launchpad, but we're already, we launched the first research. The second one is coming also in a few weeks, hopefully. That's some alpha, but what we're trying to do is right now, tackle the problem of getting those individuals on board. When there's going to be a valuable research, obviously we're going to enable the option, to perhaps be able to tokenize this.
Okay, so I see you on this one. It says like 1,000 people, 500. Is it 500,000 Lake? So basically, you're looking for 1,000 people, and that's the prize pot that's getting split between those 1,000 people. And right now, so far, you got
Absolutely.
100.
Yeah, so sorry for interrupting, but I just wanted
Okay,
to jump in because there's a limit that we impose for the participants, but there's also a time for the research, because there's a lot of timelines also for the researcher that they need to meet with what they're doing. So either the cap is reached with the participants, or the time limit is reached, and then the rewards are distributed amongst all the individuals. And this was actually voted by the lake holders on the amount. So it was a fair vote that we did. It's not something that we have came up with. We let the community vote how much they want to, want us to request from the researchers to put in this particular research.
got it. So it's kind of like, so it kind of is almost like an airdrop. Like you come in, you do this thing, you get your airdrop, but you kind of know what you're going to get up front, sort of. And or at least you know minimally what you'll get if the 1,000 caps reached, and you're contributing to this research.
Absolutely. And the great vision would be that you don't get an airdrop in Lake, but you perhaps get the airdrop in the token of the research. Then you don't know what you're getting, but also you're betting on the value that the data collected is going to be valuable, and then it's going to be monetized, and that's going to flow into the token. So um, that's the vision. But right now, to also sort of incentivize the Lake community, build the platform around the token, have the people vote, and make it beneficiary for people holding Lake. That's what we decided is the best for the project.
The thing I really like about Data Lake, or that I have liked, is your guys' ability to pivot constantly. Like if you find something doesn't work, you just try something new. And if you find that doesn't work, you try something new again. And I've seen you guys do that over and over, and that's what ultimately convinced me to be like, okay, I want to be involved, or I want to buy the Lake token. Was that you guys just constantly pivot? And I know if you give enough time to somebody and they pivot enough, and they learn, and they're like, okay, we'll try this thing, and they improve. Eventually, it just works. At least that's been my experience in life, is that it takes like iterative improvement over time to ultimately succeed. And so, that's what had me bullish on it. As far as the Lake token, what is the Lake token used for?
There's several elements, and I think there's going to be even an element of data lake ecosystem we didn't jump into yet. I'll perhaps start from that one because it's gonna be quick, because we're still in the phase of the adoption. But as you might know, the data lake token is on Ethereum. It's also on Arbitrum Nova. And there's a reason why it's on Arbitrum Nova. It's because we're working together with Arbitrum on a rollup called the Data Lake Chain. We had the mainnet release about half a year ago from now, and basically the whole infrastructure of Data Lake is running on that. And well, as the name suggests, the Lake token is the native token of the network, where validators can earn the tokens. Right now, we don't have open validation yet because we're just starting with it, and and the whole infrastructure runs on the token. But now the more important part, of why the token is needed, is actually the fuel for the application. So it's the incentivization token to actually get people into your research. So the same as we have discussed on Lake.fund that the community voted on how much they want to put into the research. The researcher does this when he comes to the platform as a sort of, I want to pay this much to get a lead, to get a certain lead. So ultimately, the biggest utility of the token is being the incentivization one. And last but not least, it's it's let me find the right words, Um, I want to say it's a token that kind of gatekeeps the data lake application, but we also require researchers to acquire some a certain amount of lake to be able to access and publish researchers there. So someone wouldn't be able to, just sign up and say, okay, I'm going to pay one lake for one person, then we would be much more open to. Again, the other malicious activity, people would be spamming researchers, etc. So yeah, I think that's a brief summary. Gas token, incentivization token, and token basically fueling the platform on both sides.
And as far as Lake, I know on like Coin Market Cap, when I look up Lake, it has a crazy high FTV, but that's not accurate, right? Because it's saying the max supply is 7.5 billion Lake, but you guys actually permanently burned a huge portion of the supply. And I guess I'm just wanting to verify that. Like, what is the total supply currently that like after the burn? And is the 7.5 billion Lake number accurate, or is CoinMarketCap got that wrong?
No, no, they got that wrong. Sometimes they get it wrong because we actually burned two-thirds of our total supply by ultimately taking it from our treasury and from our team members. Hopefully they're not mad at us, but we brought it down to 2.5 billion to actually put the community and the investors and the long-term holders
So
into
it's
favor.
pretty much
So.
fully diluted right now.
Yeah, I think we're like at 1.8 billion, and the full diluted would be 2.5. So yeah,
Okay.
we're almost there.
Last question would be, what's the roadmap for 2025 for Data Lake? What are you guys excited about? What's coming next? And kind of where are you guys going from here?
As with every pivot and every new product, there's obviously a focus that's gonna go into that. Where we obviously would like to tap into getting more projects on board on Lake.fund, right? Possibly tokenizing some, and also bringing more interesting use cases because I think this is a great bridge between the Web3 communities that can contribute to DeSci and actually the researchers themselves. Because until now, if you look at most of the DAOs and most of the DeSci projects, the only way you can contribute is either you have a PhD, and you're able to help with the research or write a research paper or verify one on a research hub, for example, or you're able to help funding the research, right? You're able to buy the token, invest in a pre-sale on an auction on bio protocol, and this way you become an investor or you buy IP NFT. But until now, I don't think you were able before Lake Fund to actually use, your own health medical data, your basic knowledge or whatever you can imagine behind that, but you don't need to be a PhD student or PhD graduate. You can be a regular Joe and you're able to help evolve, and improve and groundbreaking certified AI model that could possibly diagnose skin cancer in the future, just by providing a photo of your skin. And I think that's actually amazing. And you're able to earn, some sort of tokens from that. And we would really love to, just bring many, many, many more useful use cases to the platform where actually, anyone could contribute. So kind of become, kind of a marketplace for, researchers publishing something where actually everyone, from the whole world and from the crypto communities can, help putting a building brick towards the whole house.
I was just going to say that as far as data goes, I know specifically with AI, data is like a gold mine right now, especially unique data you can't get anywhere else. And so I can, especially as you see AI kind of take a rise, hyper specialized data is going to be more and more in demand because to train a lot of these models, you need the right data inputs into these models. And there's a lot of data you cannot get just by crawling the web. And so this, that sounds about right for a good use case going into the future with what you guys
Exactly.
are
So
building.
we want to match the right people, the right researchers with the right patients. I don't want to call them patients because you, for example, don't have to be a patient, to do this AI analysis for mathematics on the platform, You need to have a smartphone and you need to have a skin, So everyone basically matches that. All right. So, but I think there's a little bit more on the roadmap for 2025, although this is a big, priority of the whole roadmap. There's a second thing. So we've always been like super excited about, opening the research and data world to researchers worldwide, no matter, what ethnicity, what region, what legislation. And we're actually planning quite short in a short time from now to open up our consent stack. So right now, the process was it wasn't complicated. You needed to hold some certain amount of legs, sign up on the platform, create a research, questionnaires. But there's a lot of DAOs and Web3 projects that they already know how to code your own platform. They have their own applications and systems, but they would love to use our, consent layer. So this proof that someone has given the consent. So we're actually looking to open this consent stack, possibly open sourcing it, and giving the option to just implement the contract in your own application in very easy 3 to 4 steps, and this way, you don't need to change your whole roadmap, and develop extra features to be implemented with us. You just need to communicate with our smart contracts. So that's definitely a huge, huge step towards, giving the right tools to everyone and also not imposing any limits for, holding a minimal amount of lake. So we're just trying to simplify the data lake ecosystem even more to just increase the adoption of it, to be very honest with you.
Well, this has been great. Just as like a disclaimer, I do hold Lake personally, so that's something that I hold as an investment. As well as none of this is investment advice. You should always do in research. Crypto is risky. Holding tokens like Lake and all these things are risky, but you know what? Science is awesome. So you should definitely go check out Lake.fund and go do that. He said there's 100 people. That means there's 900 people that can come in still, take pictures of your skin. You're going to get some free Lake just by doing that. So, and you're going to help advance science and AI research when it comes to that. So definitely go check that out. And if people want to kind of follow you or follow Lake, what's the best places they can go to do that?
I think the best would be to go on X, that's where we communicate most of the stuff to your audience, to our audience, So, I mean, if someone perhaps from a big pharma company or research organization is watching this, go to our website, datalake.co, There you can find actually information about how you can start your journey with the data lake ecosystem. But for everyone else, I would recommend following us on X, and checking up regularly on the updates there because I didn't check this morning how many people are there in the Lake.fund research, but it might be actually more. But we're going to be pushing updates periodically as the capacity is going to get more filled. So definitely recommended to check that.
Okay, really quick, I just want to kind of summarize my thoughts now that I've done the podcast. I just talked to Oliver. Oliver is co-founder of Data Lake. Um, I was really impressed with Oliver and obviously his understanding of what they're building, his ability to say, hey, this is our initial idea that didn't work out. So we tried this new thing, and now we're experimenting with this thing. And then we're experimenting with this Lake.fund launchpad. And even after the pod ended, I talked to him a little bit more about the launchpad, and they do just hope to really make that a successful mechanism for like launching research. They're totally open to playing around with tokenization and just figuring out they want to figure out legally how they can do that. This is not a marketing heavy team. It's not like a team that's like running off of narratives and all that kind of stuff. They really are passionate about what they're building. They're really trying to build something legitimate. And like I mentioned, it only needs to hit $400 million in market cap, which is not that crazy of a market cap, especially in a bull season, all season. Yeah, I guess my takeaway is positive overall in that I'm happy to hold the Lake tokens, really small right now, $4 million market cap. Happy to hold that in an alt season to kind of see where it goes. No guarantee that it will perform. Obviously, you just never know. But being that it's so small, I guess I'm making the bet that because it's only $4 million in market cap today, how does it wouldn't take very much for it to go higher, right? It'd take only a little bit for it to go higher. And whether that's a 2x or 3x or 10x or 100x or whatever, I'm willing to kind of hold it out and see kind of what happens and how they adapt and respond to the market environment.